Welcome back, everybody, here with another epic story. Today we're talking about Noah's Ark, that's right. We're diving deep into the tale of the Great Flood, the Ark and all the craziness that went down. You ever wondered how Noah managed to wrangle all those animals? What about the science behind the whole flood thing? Well, today we're gonna unpack all that and more. So sit back, relax, and get ready because this is gonna be one heck of a ride. Let's start with the big question. Did the Great Flood actually happen? Some people say it's just a myth, but others believe it's the real deal. It says that Noah built the biggest boat ever to save himself and his family, plus 2 of every animal on earth. But why would God send such a huge flood in the first place? According to the story, humanity had gotten pretty messed up. They were violent, selfish, and just not playing nice. God gave them warnings, but they didn't listen. So God decided to start over. Only Noah and his crew made it through the flood, because he followed God's instructions to the T. He built the ark just as God told him, and that saved him and all the animals. Now let's talk about Noah himself. He wasn't some superhero. He was a regular dude who just wanted to do the right thing. When God asked him to build the ark, Noah was a little confused. Why him? But he didn't hesitate to follow through. He trusted God even though he didn't fully understand everything. This story shows us that sometimes we need to take action even when things don't make sense. Speaking of taking action, let's chat about the ark itself. This boat was no ordinary vessel. It was massive, just like bigger than any boat you've ever seen. The walls were super thick, and it had a flat bottom. This way it could handle the rough seas and stay steady even in the worst storms. Now, imagine trying to build something like this without modern tools. Back then, they didn't have fancy saws or cranes or anything like that, so it must have taken a ton of effort and planning to put all those pieces together. And speaking of putting things together, let's talk about the animals. So the story says that Noah brought 2 of every kind of animal onto the ark, male and female. Can you imagine the logistics of that? Plus, he had to take care of them for an entire year. That's a lot of responsibility. I wonder if he had to clean up after them or if they just hung out chilling. And let's not forget about the food. These animals must have eaten a ton of stuff. I wonder if Noah had to bring enough food for all of them, or if they just chowed down on whatever they found on the ark. So we get it. The story of Noah's Ark is filled with a lot of crazy details, but let's take a moment to think about the deeper meaning behind it all. This story talks about second chances. Even though humans messed up big time, God gave them another shot. Noah and his family represented the start of a new beginning for humanity. It's a hopeful message that even when things seem bad, there's always room for a fresh start. It's also a story about obedience. Noah didn't question God's plan, he just jumped in and did it. That's a lesson for us all. Sometimes we get instructions from our parents or teachers that we don't like, but it's important to listen and follow through. Just like Noah, we might not always understand why we're being asked to do something, but that doesn't mean we should just ignore it. The story of Noah's Ark has been around for ages. It's been passed down through generations and has inspired all sorts of art, music, and books. It's a story that keeps getting retold because it teaches us important lessons about life, the planet, and ourselves. But beyond all that, it's just a super interesting story that sparks our imagination. Who wouldn't want to hear about a guy who built a giant boat to save himself and all the animals from a massive flood? Now, let's take a detour and talk about the science behind the whole flood thing. Is it possible that a worldwide flood could have happened? Well, anything's possible, right? Scientists have found evidence of ancient floods that may have wiped out entire civilizations, so it's not hard to imagine that something like this could have happened on a larger scale. But the idea of a worldwide flood that covered the entire planet seems a bit It would have taken an incredible amount of water to pull that off, and scientists haven't exactly found evidence supporting this theory. But hey, science doesn't have all the answers. There are still so many mysteries of the world that we don't understand, so who knows? Maybe one day we'll uncover evidence that proves the Great Flood was totally real. In the meantime, we can keep wondering and exploring the possibilities. In the end, the story of Noah's Ark reminds us that nature is powerful and unpredictable. Floods can cause massive destruction and wipe out entire cities. But it's also a story of hope and resilience. Just like Noah and his family, we can pick ourselves up and start over even when things get tough. Sure, it might take a lot of hard work and determination, but it's definitely possible. We've come to the end of our journey through the story of Noah's Ark, but the adventure doesn't have to stop here. If you want to explore more Bible stories, click the link below and dive into the next exciting tale. Don't forget to leave a comment and let us know what you think about Noah's Ark and its possible connection to the biblical flood. Was it a true event or just a captivating story? We'd love to hear your thoughts. Thanks for joining us on this incredible adventure. Remember to hit that like button if you enjoyed the ride. Subscribe and join our community of fellow adventurers eager to uncover more fascinating stories. Your support means the world to us. Thanks for watching, keep exploring, and we'll see you in the next video. Here's a fun fact to chew on. In some versions of the flood story, it says that Noah was drunk when he got off the ark. Talk about a wild welcome to land. Imagine stumbling out of your boat, completely drunk, after being trapped on it for over a year. It must have been quite the party. Just kidding. Of course, I'm just messing around. But seriously, if you want to learn more about crazy facts and untold stories from the Bible, stay tuned. Who knows, maybe I'll share some more hilarious tales in the future. Anyway, I'm curious, what do you think about the story of Noah's Ark? Do you believe it's true or is it just a good yarn? Let us know in the comments, and remember, thanks for joining me on this epic adventure. Keep exploring and I'll catch you in the next video.